Hey guys, welcome back to Eternal Midnight. I'm Chad here with Santino.
Hey, dude.
What's going on? All right, so last time we were here, we talked about Halloween 3, how we both enjoyed it, but the general audience unfortunately didn't. So that movie came out in 1982. The franchise basically went quiet for the bulk of the 80s. It's like, this is basically when, Freddy and Jason basically took over the 80s. But then in 1988, Michael Myers returned in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. They just went right for it. Just like, all right, we're announcing he's back. Don't worry. Come see the movie. So, Santino has not told me what he thinks of these movies yet. So what did you think of Halloween 4?
I did not like it.
Oh no, why?
I did not. I was watching.
Okay, now you didn't like the movie for the movie itself, or you didn't like the movie because of you don't like how it basically shit on the end of Halloween 2?
The second one.
Okay.
I did not like its story choices at all. I found it pointless to bring Michael back. I mean, I knew he was coming back anyway because it's called The Return of Michael Myers. But I honestly mentally checked out of the movie when I saw Loomis return. I was like, dude, you died in an explosion that should have killed you.
That's why I said at the end of Halloween 2, I was like, they're dead. They're both dead.
I saw how small the room was and how many gas tanks they lit up. And I don't care what anyone says.
Don't forget, Laurie ran out of the room. She ran around a corner and down a hall, and she still had debris come flying past her.
Exactly, right? And what if you were at the center of that?
Oh, you're incinerated.
Are you telling me that all you got was just a scar and a cane? Nah, dude. I'm sorry. I meant to check out the movie when I saw it. I was like, all right, that's it.
Let's do this. So let's just leave out that part of not liking it because it shit on the end of Halloween 2. So what about the rest of, did you just not like the story that we were presented?
Overall, I mean, it was just a pretty bare bone story. I mean, like a usual slasher horror, which I'm fine with. I did enjoy the kills. There are positives in the movie. Just because I didn't like it, doesn't mean there are not positives.
Mm-hmm.
There are positives. I did like Jamie. The actress who played her was a very good actress. And
Danielle Harris.
Back then, it was like one of the riskiest moves to put a child actor in a movie, because right now it's not even risky. Like, child actors you have great child actors right now, like Phil Wolfhard, Millie Bobby Brown, Sophia Lillis, Asher Angel, Jack Dylan Grazer. They're all
Lulu Wilson,
which I love, because it's a lot of younger generations are taking up the role of acting. It's not anymore just adults. It is super possible right now to have kids who are good. But back in the early 2000s, when you had Avatar: The Last Airbender live action remake, the kids were so bad there, and it was such a risk to have a child actor in the movie because they weren't good. But in this one, it reminded me of a young Sophia Lillis, the girl who played Beverly in the It remake, 2071, where she conveyed the fear and the horror properly. I thought she was the best actor out of all of them. The kills were nice. I mean, none of them were really stand out, but I did like the one girl who was impaled with the shotgun.
That was great.
That was the best kill I saw from the movie. I was like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. I've never seen a shotgun used as a sword before, but okay.
Right through a door.
Yeah, okay. I don't mind that. I liked her adoptive sister. What was her name again?
Rachel.
I don't like what they did with her in the next one, but yeah, we'll get
there. Because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I don't like what they did with the next one. I hate Michael Myers' mask. I don't like what they did. Wow, what mask is that, dude? Looks so fake.
So what was it about the mask you were not a fan of?
It looked too plastic. One.
Okay.
It just looked like it was from a costume store. It didn't look it was for a movie. That's just basically what I saw. I don't
So,
know.
so like the original idea of picking a cheap plastic mask almost has worked against it because they picked something that was cheap in the first movie and it worked there, but this time it looked so cheap that it didn't work in your opinion, right?
Yeah, that's the best way to think of it. It just looked too fake. I was like, that is
Okay.
yeah. Overall though, like it's not a bad story, but like the thing is, it's just it just feels forced. I'm sorry. It really just feels forced. Like when I saw, it's like, why are you bringing Michael back? Like I can't believe like Laurie Strode and her husband died in a car crash off screen and they didn't survive, but Michael can survive an explosion. Like what is that?
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I get. I mean, like it's a very good pros and cons story, but like I'm leaning more towards the cons than the actual pros of the movie.
Fine. So my thoughts are basically the opposite. I
And
personally love Halloween 4. I loved this. It was normally I watch the bulk of these about every Halloween. I'll watch usually Halloween 1, 2, and 6. I'll watch during the year sometimes, but like 4, 5, H2O Resurrection, the remakes, I normally watch those only at Halloween. And rewatching Halloween for this, just like it just elevated how much I forgot how much I enjoyed this one. And it's like, yeah, I'll still always have the exact same nitpicks you do with the coming off of 2 into this one because, yeah, I'm sorry, it's pure bullshit. And at the same time, this is another thing I see so many people never bring up. Laurie at point blank range shot Michael in the eyes. He was bleeding out the eyes. I'm sorry. You can get skin grafts all you want if they take. You can grow back like fingernails, maybe. You can't grow back your eyes. If your eyes get shot out, you're blind. That's it. You're done.
yeah,
So how does he have eyes? And it's like the problem is this is where it's like I'm of two minds of this movie also, but almost in a different way where it's like I like it, but it's like it does have that kind of forced feeling. But at the same time, I really love these characters, and it's like I almost have to suspend my disbelief of it. Almost like if I'd hated these characters, like if they were the characters out of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I would just absolutely hate this film. But it's like I love Jamie, I love Rachel, Sheriff Meeker, I think is great. Um, and Loomis being back, well, yeah, it makes no goddamn sense. He should have been. He should there should have been almost no remains of him for how big that explosion was and where he was. He shouldn't have. No, they should never have found any part of him. It would have been so hot, everything about him would have melted. But it's like, okay, I guess, but this was also in the time of, while this was when the slasher boom was dying down at the end of the 80s, we were still in the 80s where you just kind of had to suspend your disbelief. And this was the point when Michael Myers went from, you know, a man, we'll say, to now he's starting to get stronger. We're like that. He can take a shotgun and ram it through a human being and right through a door. And some of the kills, like ramming his hand through the glass and ripping the when they're in the truck at the end, and he like rips that man's face to like pieces. So it's like at this point, what is Michael? They've elevated him like every movie, almost with like an action hero. Like they almost John McClaned him, where it's like he started out as one thing, got stronger as it went on, and then just hit so strong that it's like you're
yeah,
not even human
it's ridiculous
anymore.
at this point. Yeah, I mean, like it that's what it is. I mean, like, you're making it like Friday the 13th in a way, where Jason is like this unstoppable beast, like, and he can survive anything. Like I like the thing was what I like the thing about Halloween 1 and 2 to me is that it had realism to it. Like you could have a guy that's psycho to kill his family and escape and look back and go back and look for his sister to kill. That is possible. But like when that killer survives an explosion and the doctor as well, then you're like going into like, okay, this is just another Jason. I mean, like Michael was supposed to be unique from Jason, right? But then now it's like he's just like any other monster. You know?
So like, so at this point, like, would you say now like Halloween 4 is like on par with some of the Friday the 13th movies to you?
Yeah. In fact, I think it's below some because at least okay. I'm going back to the New Blood. At least when Jason fought, when Jason became this unstoppable monster, at least the story upped with him. Like, okay, we're gonna have Jason fight a telekinetic girl. Let's see how that works out. You know? But now it's like Michael's this unstoppable monster, and we're supposed to believe that this town's gonna kill him. Like, no, I can't believe that. I can't. I really cannot. Like, it's just like I don't understand. But okay.
So let's jump to some of the positives. Let's talk some of
Yeah.
the characters because honestly, I want to talk about I and this is another one where this gets even me controversy within the horror community. I like Jamie better than Laurie.
Ooh.
I really do. It in Halloween 1 and 2 versus Jamie in Halloween 4 and 5. I honestly like Jamie better. I genuinely think that yes, what Laurie went through was scary, but it's like what happens to Jamie at the end of this movie? Laurie didn't even have something like that happen to her. And then we'll get to 5 in a little bit, but it's like I think Jamie went through almost more shit in this movie than Laurie went through in Halloween 1. And what happens in 5, in my opinion, almost ups what happened to Laurie in Halloween 2.
Okay. Fair, but I am not of that opinion.
And fair enough. And don't forget, bring the age into it. Jamie was 9 in this.
Okay, yeah.
Imagine being a 9-year-old and having your serial killer uncle, who's been dormant for a decade, suddenly come back and now wants to kill you.
I'm not. I'm not saying that she was a bad character. Not far
Mhm.
from it. I'm just saying that.
No, I'm just making my case for why I like her.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's like I'm not saying she was a bad character. I'm just saying that of course, I prefer Laurie. But uh, I, despite it being so fucking ridiculous, I did like seeing Donald Pleasance again as Loomis return.
Mm.
Him being a crazier bastard than he was in Halloween 2. I did
Well,
like.
put yourself in his shoes at this point. You were this man's doctor for 15 years, like he said. And I'm so sorry if I get it wrong. He said he spent like 7 years trying to reach him and another 8 trying to keep him locked up because he knew that Michael Myers was pure evil. And then one night he gets out and basically you sacrifice your life to take him out. And so now here comes the movie magic of he survived a giant gas explosion. And now it's been a decade and he's suddenly back going after Laurie's only daughter. Just like imagine what Michael Myers has psychologically done to Loomis now over the years.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, yeah, he's like so tortured by this guy at this point that like it's basically like Batman and the Joker, where it's like, the Joker has done some pretty fucked up stuff to Batman, and Batman's just like trying to like, I'm just trying to stop this maniac from hurting any more people. I again, despite it being super ridiculous, I didn't mind seeing him return. It's just the fact that this is just so stupid.
So what did you think of Rachel? Did you think she was a good secondary lead?
Again, I did like Rachel. Usually like in adoptive sisters, like they're an asshole or they're so mean to their like adoptive sister. But Rachel was actually like a different. Like when I first was going in, like I was like, okay, Rachel's gonna be the mean older adoptive sister who's gonna tease Jamie, and like, but no, Rachel's actually caring.
Rachel protected her as if Jamie was her actual sister.
Yeah, as it was her own. So it's like, okay, so like that's a nice change of pace. I like, despite, again, I'm not saying this movie's completely negative. There's positives like that where like, oh wow, nice change of pace of like Rachel being a good sister to Jamie. I didn't mind it at all. I was like, all right, that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Which makes me which hurts more because what they did with her in part, I was like, oh, why?
Oh,
Why?
oh God, we'll get there. But okay, so one of my favorite scenes about Jamie, real quick, because we'll kind of fast forward through the movie a little bit.
Yeah,
One of
yeah.
my favorite scenes that Danielle Harris, I thought, did an amazing acting job in, though, was when she was still at school and those just fucking asshole
Oh
kids
yeah, yeah,
were
yeah.
sitting there. I mean, yeah, I know kids can be mean, but fuck, these kids are sitting there like, is your mom taking your trick or treating? Oh, wait, she can't. Your mom's dead. I'm like,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
the what fucked up world do elementary school kids talk to each other like that?
That was
But it
so.
was just like her face when, Jamie's uncle's the boogeyman. They're like yelling at it, and she's running out of the school and she's like crying. It's like she did a
Damn good act.
damn good job selling that scene, I thought.
I'm not contesting that. That was like I said, Jamie was like, I don't like her as much. I'm not a view where I say like, oh my god, she's better than Laurie. I'm just saying that Jamie was like the highlight of this movie.
Mhm. So basically, everyone out there, you know the movie. Um, Michael escapes, comes back to Haddonfield. Loomis is on his way. Basically, the place goes into lockdown at the house. Michael gets in, kills off everyone there except Rachel and Jamie get out. They're on the run. Picked up. That scene at the school was actually pretty tense, I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought Rachel was. I honestly, first time I saw this, I thought Rachel was going to get killed in the school.
Yeah, they made it set up like it was like that was possible for that to happen.
Yep. So obviously get out, and then like that, boom, they're on the truck getting out of town. State troopers are coming in. um Michael kills them all off. So what did you think of that? What did you think of like that, Rachel having to take the lead, knowing like, again, this is just a teenager having to take the lead of life or death for her and Jamie? Did you think she handled herself pretty damn well?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like Rachel. She was pretty like strong enough to do it on her own, and she she was able to save Jamie from like certain death. And that shot again of Michael's hand coming down the window and ripping out the driver's like whatever, like thorax or throat, like one of those things.
Just ripped his head to pieces, basically.
That was like terrible. But then like Rachel was like calm, collected, like like I'm gonna save my sister. Like it's not even her own sister; it's her adoptive sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like that.
So then, like that, Rachel just smashes into him. He goes flying. State troopers show up because we're hitting the end right now.
Yeah.
State troopers show up, and like that, Jamie, stay in the car. Rachel runs to get the cops, comes back. Jamie's out by Michael, touching his hand.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the actual ending coming when you saw something like that?
I said, okay, so you're gonna set up Jamie being the next Michael Myers. That's cool. But I can't wait for that.
So before we get to that, what did you think of Michael's, we'll call it death in this? We're just in 1988. We don't know about 5 yet. What did you think of his death, getting basically gunned down by a line of shotguns?
And well, I'm coming off knowing it's a Halloween Part 5, but Michael Myers and it's like, okay, so he's gonna survive.
Yeah, but that was bullshit. We'll get there in a few minutes, but that was bullshit what they did in Halloween 5. That was even worse than 2, I thought, almost, because it was almost even more insultive, because at least 4 set up a cool premise and then said fuck off like a year later.
Yeah.
Not a decade later.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Michael's dead, gone. They go back to the house. Were you kind of wondering what was happening, or did you kind of think you knew it was Jamie?
I kind of think I knew what was happening, and then I kind of knew what was happening. And when it switched to a first-person POV shot, and the mask came on, I was like, oh shit, it's Jamie. And Jamie kills, what was her name? Rachel. And man,
it's her stepmom.
Oh right, her stepmom. Yeah, sorry.
Rachel was downstairs.
Yeah, when Jamie kills her stepmom, and man, Loomis, like Donald Pleasant's acting like his terror when he saw that, like no, and you see like Jamie with a knife, like oh fuck.
Covered in blood. Loomis pulls his gun and aims it at her. Meeker runs over and knocks it out of his hand, and everyone just looks up, and it's just like Loomis is just no, and Jamie's just standing there, mask down, scissors in her hand, blood all over her. Oh, yeah. And then it was over. What a great ending, I thought.
Yeah, though. And then
So we'll follow that up in a second, but so just Halloween 4 overall, where would you say, would you put it like almost like a middle thing because it's like your cons and pros are almost even with each other, or no?
I'd say it's more of a 60-40 where the cons just like are a bit higher than the pros, but I'm not saying it's completely shit, but
yeah, it's just you don't like it as much as 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ultimately, honestly, I'd rather watch Season of the Witch more than I would watch 4 and 5.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would rather watch Season of the Witch than 5, but yeah. So 4 for me, I still love 4. It's just, yeah, we got the different view. For once, we have different views. We see people, we don't always agree. Even though I know we're going to agree on 5. Whoa. Holy shit, this movie. Okay, first off, why the hell is it called The Revenge of Michael Myers?
No, first
Who the
of
hell
all,
is he getting his revenge on?
this movie is just trash.
Dog shit. Okay, first off, bullshit. He fell down the shaft, crawled out, and went down the river. Get fucked. And you know what? I almost wish they'd taken the dynamite though, and I wish they'd shown them throw it down the hole in 4 though. Because I think that would have been cool. Almost like we blew him to pieces, but now we're still gonna blow him up. But okay, here, just starting off in the first few minutes. So he gets to that hermit's house, falls down, and the motherfucker just lets him lay there for a year?
Yeah.
He doesn't call the police or anything. Oh, some crazy guy wandered into my shack?
Yeah.
So Michael lays there in a coma for a year after he got shot with about 100 shotguns. He's not covered in blood. He's not bleeding to death, but whatever. And now we're bringing in this, oh God, the psychic connection.
Oh, that was so bullshit. Like, what the fuck?
Where the hell did that come from and why?
It's almost as dumb as the cops with the stupid sound effects.
Holy shit. Why did they feel it was necessary to have comic relief music in a Halloween film?
I don't know.
What were they? Why would they think that was a good idea? Huh? I said, why would they think that was a good idea? I mean, Halloween is, and I got this from another podcaster I was listening to. Halloween is supposed to almost be like the straight man of the slasher genre, almost like the one where you don't make jokes like that. You don't have pratfalls or goofy music or something. But it's like now we're getting cops who are just like Dumb and Dumber.
That was so BS. That was like such a bullshit move. It's like what angered me most is what they did with Rachel. They made her like this dumb ditzy blonde.
How do we get the Rachel that we had in Halloween 4?
It's like she was like
who was this character?
Bimbo or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, hey, Rachel wasn't as bad as Tina though.
Oh yeah, that was it. Because Rachel got killed. She got killed.
Which was such bullshit. After everything Rachel went through in Halloween 4, she meets her end in the first half hour of the movie. God, it was just so this is one of those movies where it's like, I don't know what they were going for. I get that they wanted to rush out a sequel to capitalize on Halloween 4 being a big success. Yeah. But it's like, what were you trying to accomplish with this film?
I think they were just like, I think to me, this just seemed like a cash grab. It is. It was so forced. It was trying to capitalize on Michael Myers returning, even though he should have died. It would have been possible. You know, again, the studio refused to take risks. It could have been an awesome thing to have Jamie, the next Michael Myers, after the end of Halloween 4.
And you know what? Just to interject, in one of the documentaries, I don't remember which one, because I think, the 25 Years of Terror one, Danielle Harris even said she was excited that she's like, I get to like be the killer in the next movie, and then it was just scrapped.
Yeah.
It's like, Why the fuck did you set it up then? Why did you, the studio, allow that to be set up if you didn't want to do anything with it?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because like I was so down with that to have Jamie the next Michael Myers because like yeah she would because it does make sense.
Kind of the same with what's his face, Tommy in Friday the 13th Part 5.
Exactly. Like even though I don't like Part 5, I mean like it would have made sense to me like okay, Jamie has been traumatized this whole night. She's seen people die. She's seen her friends die. She's almost died herself. It would make sense to be like, and she just revealed that Michael Myers is this boogeyman who's her uncle. It would make sense for her to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go crazy and I'm gonna be in the next Michael Myers. That would make sense, but why didn't you do that? I don't know why, because you wanted to capitalize on Michael Myers returning because he is the icon of Halloween. Like, no, to me, you should take the story further and not have Michael Myers return and actually make a good story without him. Again, I will bring it back to what I've said before with you, Chad, the Men in Black analogy. Why does Agent K have to come back to Men in Black 2 when he's already completed his arc in Men in Black 1 and he gave his role to Jay? Why? Because it's a cash.
Exactly. It's because, well, I also blame audiences for certain things because it's the audience's responsibility to see this stuff and be like, we're not going to watch it. But it's because this could almost be an episode in itself where it's just like people who see movies, and you even see it, people can't decide what they want. If they see something like they see a remake come out, oh, Hollywood's out of ideas. But then Lion King Lion King remake made over $1 billion. Well, not many of you can really think that because it made over $1 billion. But then when they do a remake that's completely different from the original, people go, oh, it was nothing like the original. Why'd you even remake it? Because they did something different. But then when it's like a shot-for-shot remake, then they go, what's the point? So it's like, I don't understand what people even want anymore. So it's like, I guess at this time they just decided to go with okay, they liked Michael Myers being here. I guess we'll bring him back somehow. And honestly, I really can't think of any kills Michael did in this movie that I was impressed by in the slightest.
There was one I did like, the garden rake on the other Michael.
It was cool seeing. It was cool seeing Michael kill somebody in the daytime for once, I guess.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was fine. But it's like the rest of this movie, it just, I wasn't impressed. I genuinely, Wendy Kaplan, I'm sure she's a great woman, the chick who played Tina, but holy fuck, that character was annoying as hell. They killed off Rachel in favor of making Tina the main character. Okay, if they wanted to kill... Huh?
And she died anyway. Tina died anyway.
Yeah! Bullshit way. It's like, fine, you want to kill off Rachel? Whatever. Go ahead, be brave with it. I wish it had almost been done in a more heroic way, not murdered right after a shower. Yeah. But it's like, okay, if you want to kill off Rachel, fine. Can you at least give me a character to now follow that I enjoy? Why couldn't Sam have been the main character? The blonde one who was Tina's friend?
Oh, yeah.
I liked Sam. Sam was hot. But 2, it's like, up until we got to the farmhouse, Samantha, whatever, she actually seemed like she had a character. Like, when Tina's boyfriend pulled up, and she's like, oh, let's go. And Sam's like, weren't we going to go see Jamie? And she's like, oh, we're going to go for a ride. It's like, okay, it's like immediately in that scene alone, I'm like, I like Sam 1,000 times better than Tina.
Yeah.
But what's the point? And then it's like they're saying all this shit like, oh, you're scaring Jamie about Michael Myers back, all this. It's like, okay, bitch, you weren't in the last movie, but you don't remember your entire police force to your town being butchered in Halloween 4? You don't remember just the strew of bodies that were killed? All the people killed? You don't remember any of that, and you're still going to sit and tell these people they're crazy? Oh, just a badly written character. I couldn't stand Tina. And just overall, I don't even know really what to say about this movie. This movie was just, again, it was just a fucking messy rush job that it's like, even just watching it the other night, I was just like, this is just so irritating. And it's like,
I mean, from a first-person perspective, like a guy who has seen it for the first time, it is the worst Halloween movie I've ever seen thus far.
oh, just wait. Just wait. I mean, yeah, I'd say out of the first 5, it's definitely the worst.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it at all whatsoever.
It's just, even at this point, it was like, even Donald Pleasance just seemed tired at this point.
Yeah, he seemed exhausted, honestly. I was like, all right, you're not even having fun with this role anymore, so how can I have fun with it?
Yeah, and it's like, I got to give Danielle Harris credit. She, the best. I got to give her credit. She did a good job for being a mute character for most of the movie. I'd say her acting was still incredibly on point. And so it's like, to me, it's almost like the only good part of this movie I'd have to say is the end after, and it's almost ironic I'm saying this, I don't mean as bad as it is. It's almost after Tina dies, when Jamie is finally speaking again, when Loomis is like, are you finally ready to help me take him down? And Jamie's like, fine. That's when I finally was like, okay, now I'm invested in this story. Like, fuck, it took you 3/4 of the movie before I finally care. And it's like, I think everything in the Myers house I thought was pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah. Although
and just
Myers house. It didn't look like Myers house.
What the hell was that?
It looks
How do you go from just a substandard house that was like from the 40s, and now it's like a giant, like, fucking castle of a house? But it's like, I think, again, that's where more scenes where Danielle Harris as Jamie really sold it. Her terror running from Michael, just, okay, you got to give it. Her reactions to seeing her dog dead, to seeing Rachel dead up in the attic, damn good job for a girl her age.
Yeah, super. That's why I'm saying that she was, like, I don't like these movies 4 and 5, but she was the positive out of both. So yeah.
Now, what did you think of the scene where she got Michael to take his mask off?
That was actually super cool. Like, wow, that's awesome. Like Uncle Boogeyman. Like, oh shit! And then like, he takes his mask off. Like, oh, then like Michael has some humanity in him. Oh shit!
What did you think of the tear?
Yeah, like it means it's just like shows like, okay, so like, my God, finally it's getting interesting. Like in the last 20 minutes of the movie, it gets interesting. I was like, and
it took that long.
Yeah, it just took that long for it actually to get interesting. It was like, all right, finally, and then it
just turns into another slasher ending. So yeah, I mean, the tear I don't understand, because again, this man was in a fire that was like the size of a building.
Right.
How is his skin normal? Okay, how does he have an eye after getting it shot out? But okay, we'll move past the fucking obvious.
So stupid, I swear. It was one of the most.
So basically, and I've seen people give this shit before. They've been like, I hate how Loomis basically uses Jamie as like bait to lure Michael down. It's like, yeah, but you have to remember, Loomis gave his basically his final attempt to Michael to like relax him, and Michael still stabbed him. At this point, Loomis is like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm out for blood now, dude. And it's like, he knew he had a plan. He knew he had the metal net down there. And I honestly, they fucked up the ending, though. They really fucked up this ending. It's like, you know what? Okay, first off, and I'm going to tell you something that I've heard about the director. Remember that man in black walking around the whole movie?
Yeah, who was that?
You'll find out in Halloween 6. The director had no idea. The director had no payoff for that character.
Oh my God, it's one of those movies. Really?
Yeah, he just threw him in there to be like, oh, look, this ominous character in black's walking around the whole time. Okay. And he had no idea who the character was, who he was gonna be, none of that. Fuck that. So then we get to, okay, so I honestly love that shot of Michael in prison, first off, they would have taken his mask off. They would not have put him in there with the mask on. And easily you could have filmed it from behind and never shown his face if that's what you were trying to avoid, but whatever. So, and then Jamie says that line where Meeker is like, the state troopers are coming. They'll take him away, put him in a maximum security penitentiary until the day he dies. And then Jamie, he'll never die.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Why couldn't we have ended the movie with Michael being put in the back of the truck, in the back of a cop van or something, and a giant row of them, like 10 of them, where it's like, this thing is not going to flip. He's strapped down like 100 times. He's not escaping. And have the last shot of the movie be him in his mask staring at Jamie as the truck drives off or something. Why did it have to end on the most retarded thing I've ever seen?
Yeah, with the man block breaks the guy out. Like, what the fuck?
He like blows apart the police station. He somehow had a gun that melted steel, because if you see it, the bars that were like on the police were like melted and hanging off. I'm like, how? He had a Tommy gun. Those can't melt steel. And then it's just, we just get Jamie, no credits.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
That's
Why
sick.
would you end it like that?
Again, that's such bullshit.
And it wasn't even a cliffhanger. It was just garbage. Because it's like, if you're going to, okay, this is another one of those things. If you're going to end a movie on a massive cliffhanger like that, you better have something ready in the pipeline. You better have something ready to come next year or the year after. But no, this came out in 89. 6 didn't come out till 95, 6
What
years
the
later.
fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like, I almost don't, what one do you almost find more insultive? Setting up Jamie as the killer and then not rolling with it? Or capturing Michael, putting him in jail, and then having him escape, but have no ideas for a payoff for it? Which one do you find worse?
First one. The first one.
Or
Yeah.
rushing it and just saying, forget it, do the same thing again?
Yeah.
Oh, Halloween 5. Oh, I don't even think we brought it up. What did you think of the mask in this one?
Oh, I didn't like it either.
This one was just weird looking. It's like the nose was like really pointy on it for some. I don't understand. I did not like the mask in this one at all. I like the mask in 4 way better.
Oh, I still can't get over the dumb cops with the sound effects.
Hey, at least they died.
Yeah.
They died. It was sad when Samantha got killed, though. Because, yeah, I mean, Samantha and Jamie were like the 2 highlights of this movie. I can't even say Loomis was a highlight, because it's like, yeah, Loomis is awesome, and he makes these movies, but it's like, just his role was just so. I mean, yeah, I get what they were going for. He was such a brilliant character at this point, and they did pull it off in some scenes, but others, it's just. Like we said, Pleasance himself just looked like he was just like, why are we doing this? Why am I doing this role again? So, yeah, that, you know what? That wraps up Halloween 4 and 5. It's, oh, man, I can't. I did not think we were going to get that heated about 5. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on 6. Because if you didn't like 4 and 5, I know you're not going to like 6 either version.
I harken it back also to another good example, like like the Back to the Future trilogy, which I've been watching recently. Like again, that's an example of a good trilogy that can like.
Those are all good.
That can do different things within each movie, but this one it's like. You're just doing the same thing. You're going to set up Jamie as the killer, and then you just don't roll it because you want to play it safe. And yeah.
Yeah, it's just sad. But yeah, so that's it. That's Halloween 4 and 5. I like 4. I really don't like 5. You weren't a fan of either of them. Yeah. So I mean, now in a few days, we're going to be covering. So originally this episode was going to be 4, 5, and 6, but I decided I wanted to do I wanted to talk both versions of 6 because this isn't like a BVS situation where, for those who haven't seen both versions, this isn't a BVS situation where it's like a few scenes have been changed that make the movie better or something. I mean, and for those who've seen both cuts, they know the producer's cut and the theatrical cut, they're basically the same thing, but the stories are wildly changed for some of it. So that's going to be cool to see in a few days because I'm almost excited to see what I guarantee you're not going to like either of them. I know you're not because you didn't like 4 and 5. But I'm almost interested to see which one you like more than the other one because it's like I like one of the cuts and I genuinely don't like the other one. So it'll be interesting.
You don't like the theatrical cut.
What's that?
I have a feeling the one you don't like is the theatrical cut, right? Am I right?
No. I like the theatrical cut and I hate the producer's cut.
You hate
I hate the producer's cut. It's so stupid. So, and you know what? I almost want it. That's where we'll leave it because now I'm gonna start getting some fans' heads exploding, being like, "How dare you say that you don't like the producer's cut?" But in a few days, you guys will get to hear the reasons why I don't like it. So, yeah, that wraps up tonight's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What's your thoughts on 4 and 5? Tell us down below. And we'll be back in a few days with Halloween 6, theatrical and producer's cut. I'm Chad. Have a good night.
I'm Santino. See you around.